listening to the Adventure Party for the 4th week of August 2024. This week, the party discussed the latest WotC controversy and how they're pushing to control all of the D&D experience. Please note that since recording this episode, WotC have changed some of the policies being discussed. The Adventure Party, discussing tabletop radio gaming the Irish way.
Welcome to the party. I'm Dave.
I'm Lynn.
I'm Shane, and I'm so tired. I'm almost as tired as WotC's PR team.
This week on How Have WotC Annoyed People?
Yeah, look, we knew they were up to shenanigans. That's not new. The previous episodes noting the plural. From the sounds of it, D&D Beyond isn't going to have any legacy content, i.e., 5th Ed.
What we call existing content.
Yeah, the stuff that people have paid for, is just going to be gone.
Well, it's not so much that it'll be gone. It's just that they're replacing. Correct me if I'm wrong now, but they're replacing. If there's a new equivalent of it, the new equivalent will replace it.
Yeah, so the old content is gone.
Not like 100%.
If there has not been a replacement product, that product will still be there, or that content will still be there.
Okay, so only some of it will be gone.
So it's not like all of it is gone.
All right, no, it's best to be accurate in fairness.
Yes, there's plenty of rope to hang them with the accuracy, with correcting of what's going on.
You're dead right.
Okay, let's go focus on this.
I mean, I guess what I'm going to leave with, is anybody surprised by this?
God, no.
Not surprised, but they didn't need to take this extra step. They could have just stuck with all the dumb nonsense they were already doing.
I mean, they probably could have even, I dare say, given that it's pretty easy to do. Pathfinder has just brought out the Pathfinder core, not just brought out, it's out a while. But if you look on Archives of Nephis, if there's a new replacement version for a spell or for a thing, it links back to the old one.
Yeah, that's how you should do it.
Like, that would be so easy to do, and I'd imagine it may be something they'll end up backtracking to.
Maybe. I guess I assumed that there would. Again, I'm not a D&D Beyond user, but I assumed. I guess I didn't think of that too deeply with this. But what I would have expected, I guess, would be, you go on to D&D Beyond, and it brings you automatically to the D&D. Let's just say 5.5 for now, just to differentiate the two. I still kind of want to call it Anniversary Edition, but I'm not sure it deserves that accolade.
They are intent on not losing their brand.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
5th edition of the greatest role-playing game ever.
What other role-playing games are there?
They don't lose their branding. They don't want to pull an X on it.
Yeah, I get that, but the idiocy of it, we can get back to it later in the episode. But what I assumed was going to happen was you'd load up your D&D Beyond app or web page or whatever, and it would bring you to the 5.5 page, and there'd be a little switch at the top that says Legacy content, and if you press that, it would bring you back to your old 5.0 material, all the stuff you bought in D&D Beyond, the free SRD stuff, old character sheets or what have you, and yeah, you could just press a button and say export a 5th Ed character to 5.5 character or what have you for your campaigns as you needed. That's, I guess, what I assumed, is that because they already had all the 5.0 content.
That would be very easy to implement, yes.
Yes, because it's, they already have all that 5.0 content there. Just leave it, make a little bit of adaptation between them. It should be fine. But instead, they're focusing on making sure that the new edition is the one true way. That it is. The problem.
No, the problem that they have, right, is from our point of view, not what they're saying, a new edition is coming out. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that different than the existing edition. People seem to be pretty happy playing the existing edition. It's not like they've had fatigue and people are just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm not playing 5th Ed anymore. 5th Ed is still very popular. What they don't want to happen is players who would take up the new content won't take it up because the people that they play with have the existing books and are happy and don't want to get the new content. I know a lot of players. I know my stepdaughter is playing 5th Ed with a group, and they've no intention of getting new books because they have the existing books, and none of them have a D&D Beyond subscription. So they're just going to keep playing away. Now imagine for that one player or the GM has D&D Beyond. Suddenly all the players are like, well, the GM has D&D Beyond, and that's all. That's the content that they have, and they see that version of the spell and that version of the class. Suddenly all the players are nudged and pushed towards getting the new rules. That's what that's their ideal. That's what they want. They want to flip that paradigm from the person with the new content being the problem to the people with the old content being the problem. That's what they want, and entirely they want to push people more towards the subscription thing because if you look a couple of years down the line, even if you go out and buy the rulebooks that are coming out this quarter, if they update that content, boom, the automatic subscription, the online stuff gets updated straight away. The old books that are only a year or two old won't get updated. And it's mainly trying to shift stuff from the spiky one-time purchase to the ongoing revenue.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
It's a dastardly way of doing it, but it's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah, it is unless you annoy a sufficient bulk of people that they leave. And there's already entire new games that exist because of WotC's malarkey the last few years. You know, Tales of the Valiant and what have you.
I ever seen another episode. I did see another YouTube video about Shadow Dark. It almost feels like it turned to eclipse most of the other OSR style games, and it's just literally trying to go for WotC's lunch.
Yep, more power to them.
That's the balance they have to strike between annoying enough of the player base. You know, if they annoy too many people, then they will lose money, and if they annoy just enough people to get away with it, then they'll come out ahead. And I think that's the calculation they're doing, and I think it's going fairly okay for them.
Yeah,
people are gonna move away into another system. You know, I don't know that. Are they that big a concern? Like, are the bulk of 5th Ed players seriously looking around other games going, yeah, I'll give that a go? It's like, why wouldn't they have done it already? I mean, how old is 5th Ed now?
10 years.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
I mean, maybe I'm entirely wrong because, like, I literally just this month got my hands on D&D, Pathfinder core books because even though the core came out 6 months ago at least, you just could not get the rule books. They flew off the shelves, and you could not get the game shops couldn't get printings in, and online people couldn't get printings in. And now finally 6 months later, I finally got my hands on the book. So I could be way off about this, and that the numbers are way off, and people are going, oh, I'm really turned off by this OSR stunt, and now maybe this will be another nail in that coffin of going, man, I better jump off this ship.
Do we want to do devil's advocate first?
Okay, that's always fun.
I think looking at it from WotC's point of view, I suspect even Pathfinder, even big stuff like that, I don't think they're really considering those as, real rivals. I think they are still in the mindset that their only major rival is A, video games and other big time sinks, and B, themselves. Like, they are worried about the old edition preventing sales of the new edition. I'm going to call it a new edition. I don't care what they say.
It is a new edition. Like, absolutely it is.
I think that's the way they're looking at it, is that they're trying to think of it in terms of converting their previous customer base into the new customer base. They're trying to manage a sort of campaign of conversion, and it's not an attempt to push existing RPGs out. It's that, like, they're literally not considering these to be, a big enough part of the structure. Because, like, I think even in the worst of times, like, I know people have said that in the battle days of 4th Ed that Pathfinder was outselling them. People at WotC have pushed back against that, saying that no, like, they maybe took 20%, 30% market share, but like, we were selling enough books to places other than game stores that Pathfinder wasn't a real threat to us. That's what I've heard in the time since. So I don't think they're not trying to, like, take over the gaming market. They're trying to convert the customer base they already have to buy again. That I think that's their only real focus, and then they're going to work on expanding the customer base by adding in all the digital tools to. I mean, there's still conspiracy theories that they are going to literally start making up AI GMs at some point. That's going to be a service they're certainly going to invest in, even if they never actually implement.
AI is very hot right now, and
yeah, well, then they do need investment dollars from Hasbro.
Like every fad, like this isn't like a full fad like you've seen in other fads. AI is here to stay. All of the ridiculous everybody jamming AI into everything isn't going to stay. It's just people are scatterbrained in absolutely everything.
We're still going to have like AI boosted Google and Bing and whatever. It's just that we're not going to have like literally every service is going to become a Jack TTP service or something, and that's not going to happen. But there is going to be AI around, and absolutely having AI assisted tools as part of your digital tool set in a D&D Beyond thing, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, AI generate me an encounter.
Yeah, generate an encounter, generate a tavern. I don't know how to describe this town or this ancient ritual site or whatever. Come up with some stuff for me. Help inspire me, ChatGPT. Or that's absolutely fine. People are already doing that. But like there's still conspiracies about like they're literally going to try replacing GMs. I don't think that's necessarily a objective as so much as something they're maybe like poking towards.
Some people are going to try it. Like,
yeah. Again, I don't think it's so much that WotC are trying to control all gaming, so much as from their point of view, D&D is a product to sell to players, not as much a product to sell to GMs. And this is where a lot of GMs have been complaining about feeling like a D&D 5th Ed was too hard to run for long because it just didn't seem to have enough GM support inherent in it. It just had, here's some ideas, you figure it out. Was the attitude, and as looking at all of the moves that WotC be making, it really feels like it's not like they were deliberately trying to make a difficult edition or anything. It's just that they were so focused on making content for players to an extent where sometimes it even feels like their big hardback adventures were more being pitched towards players than GMs in a certain extent, because a lot of GMs complain that this is a whole bunch of cool moments without the connection between them, and therefore making it harder and harder to run, even though it seems really cool to read through it and my character could go through all of these cool adventures. I guess my point is I could see the argument to say that the major focus of WotC's financial moves, as we might call them, is to convert their existing player base in preparation for the blue sky. We're going to turn every video gamer into a D&D player, stuff. The stuff they tell their investors, not necessarily realistic stuff.
And honestly, like I could think of a good reason not to hack off your tabletop player base. Like even if they pivoted to turning D&D into source material for video games, I mean they could absolutely build on that and basically steal ideas from the player base. Like if it came to it, like
I mean, there's certainly enough legal provisions in the. I don't think they intend to like steal people's D&D Beyond campaign notes and turn them into official product or anything. I don't think that's the point. I do think that they maybe want like legal protection in case they accidentally get inspired by something that's popular on D&D Beyond, and a detail or two slips into a product they make. But I don't think that's their intent is to steal. But like getting customer feedback and stuff, yeah, that's fine. I do think their long-term plan is to make so that as much of their player base as possible is on D&D Beyond, not just for subscription.
That's entirely what this move is about.
Not just for the subscription. They'll have their D&D on Beyond Plus or whatever it's called. That not just to have subscription, but they want to have access to their player base. That thing they want to have the metrics. In corporate space, they want to be able to instantly like put out surveys to people. It's like, before you access your character, could you please answer this 5-minute survey? They want to be able to do that at will, essentially, and just like leverage as much of their player base as possible as a feedback loop, and that's fighting against their traditional player base who are happy to just have some core books and some game notes and to run a happy night without ever touching a computer.
There's also some other advantages for them as well. Like, I mean, if you get people to switch over to D&D Beyond and you get a sufficiently large player base on it, you can do what the computer game industry's been doing for years. Push out games that are not ready and fix it in post.
Yep. Patch it up with a errata.
Are they going to patch up adventures that come out half-baked? That's the real question.
I absolutely could. Oh, wow, this encounter's too tough. Right, okay, well, let's drop that AC by a point and drop those saves by a couple of points. Okay, cool. Now that's actually done. Now that's probably putting a degree of competence and care there that I don't know how much they'd fix deadly encounters as much as they would. You're probably looking at big issues with class balances and classes more than anything else.
Ranger.
I mean, from what I've heard, previews of the new Ranger do not make it sound like it's any better than the existing 3 different attempts to make a good Ranger in 5th Ed.
The revised Ranger was great.
We've seen some of this kind of change in gaming with to some degrees of success and failure with other games. Like we've seen it with 40k, like Games Workshop. They've tried a few different things which have worked and not, like the whole War Scrolls thing with Age of Sigmar. I don't know how that particularly worked. The current thing where they're constantly tweaking and adjusting codexes based on win ratios at tournaments seems to be working out okay. I haven't heard too many people giving out about it. So there's potential there to improve the play experience. Now, whether that's how to go down, I don't know.
Yeah, like certainly that kind of thing is possible, and if you're going to leverage a digital platform, it's not a bad place to start. My question is it going to be effective? Because like the major problem, like you say the revised Ranger relatively good. The people say the Tash's Cauldron Ranger, then that was fine. But the problem was always that was the Ranger online or in a separate supplement. It wasn't the Ranger in the core book people had. And errata, while somewhat effective, couldn't change the fact that people were running straight out of the book and having arguments later saying, well, actually, Kevin Crawford said this. Not Kevin Crawford. What's his name? Which is the Crawford guy for D&D?
Jeremy?
Mr. Crawford.
Jeremy Crawford, yes.
But the great thing is each table can do its own thing. Each DM can do their own thing.
Which is one of the wonderful things about roleplay. But it is also a nightmare for a large corporation that wants to ensure that everyone who plays D&D will have a wonderful experience. And there's no such thing as a terrible GM.
But they could actually give GM support like 5e was lacking in. But yeah, that's another debate.
If there's any of the new books, I'm not planning to purchase any of the 5.5 books right now. Like I do not want to give any money to WotC, any encouragement.
Same here.
I am still vaguely curious if they can really fix the DMG because the problems with the DMG are really tough to break down because an awful lot of it is what's not there. Like it's full of ideas, but it is not. It's full of like little things you can do, but not solid examples.
It's not good for teaching new GMs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it basically leans on people learning how to DM from other sources or from previous games.
Yeah.
That is my huge issue. Like there is some great stuff in there. There's some really good optional rules, but you have to know how to run a game to make the best use out of them.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up some anecdotes when you're inspired by you mentioning buying books or not buying books. I'm in 2 5e games and was looking to be in a third. Like just, they run every week or month or whatever. Out of them, one is wrapping up fairly soon. The second is moving off D&D Beyond entirely once that change happens. The third was going to be in 5th Ed and now is likely going to be in Pathfinder 2nd Ed. So, anecdotes, but there's a pattern there.
Yeah. I do think there is a concern. As I said, this is like competition with other RPGs. Like it's not a zero factor. I don't think it's big, but I do think there is like a worry in WotC that they will not be able to make people make the transition. And considering again, this is the 50th anniversary of the game, and they're bringing out, I saw like a gigantic €100 art book of the true history of D&D is out on the shelves in game stores, and that looks like it's not going to. I don't know if those are going to go anywhere, because I'm pretty sure you can get a professionally made book by an actual historian on Amazon for €15.
That's a niche product anyway. Like, there's only a certain amount of people who will fork out the extra whatever amount for the books with the fancy covers and a nice little sleeve.
Yeah.
The whales are out there, but like, I don't think you can. I don't think you can really like pin your product on the whales.
Yeah, so I guess like I say, from the corporate point of view, the main reason for stuff like this, for the moves like this, is to complete the conversion, to make sure that as much of their player base makes the full jump to the new rule books.
It is. It's to bring in a little bit of incompatibility with Beyond and the old stuff. Not unusable. You don't want to make it so it's totally unusable, but you want to make it enough of an inconvenience that people go, you know what, maybe I will pick up them books.
Yeah, because like just as and I think it's probably a long-term strategy for that. Like, just as I say, if their business model is moving towards more subscription stuff, maybe they don't necessarily need the big spike of sales straight away, as much as a long tail of people picking up core rule books as they go. Maybe that is where they're planning things to go.
I know my YouTube feed is full of content viewers who have had early access to a lot of the material, and they're saying what's good and what's bad and all this kind of stuff. Like, so they definitely have an ongoing PR campaign, particularly with influencers, to try and get them to plug the new stuff, and they have had their hands fairly tied in terms of saying negative stuff.
Yeah, although apparently, like, some of those content producers have been flagged by I don't know, WotC's bots or their lawyers or something, and been told that they have to censor parts of their video because they might be showing off too much of their rulebook. And that's just such a protectionist way of thinking. It implies that like their PR department is not in dialogue with their legal department, and the PR department's going, "Hey, here's books, and then those content creators are being noticed by the PR division and getting separate letters to say cease and desist, censor this content, and just like, you are going into a major marketing push, and two major sections of your organization are not in dialogue with each other, and they contradict each other, and you do not have a consistent message.
It's pretty bad.
That's not good.
I would add to that there's an even worse flaw being exposed there, that there seems to be a fundamental lack of understanding of the differences that are involved with RPGs as a medium. Because with a novel or a film or something, showing the content, that could hurt sales. Like, it could draw interest, but it could hurt sales because the content's there. But with an RPG, the book is not the game. The book is a set of instructions, and the game is created at the table or over the voice chat or what have you. So showing an RPG book isn't quite the same beast.
Yeah, it should be inspiring. A lot of content creators for other games are saying like showing off books in things helps sales. Like Questing Beast, who made, is it Black Hack, or he made that something else since. He was saying like, got a huge sales spike when I showed off the entire book on video, because it helped inspire people to say, oh, this is a complete book, this is a complete product with full rules, and it's inspiring. I'll get it. I'll go out and get a copy. But yeah, the WotC lawyers do not seem to be on that wavelength at all. Is this the same legal team that sent the Pinkertons?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like, look, I don't know if everybody needs a reminder. Like, I'm sure there's good people working for Hasbro and WotC, but as an organization, they're not nice people. They have hired the Pinkertons to go after people. Like,
I think a lot of people just did not realize the Pinkertons were still a thing until that story broke.
And then apparently you can, turn up to a mine and murder a whole bunch of people, with massive armed support, and you still get to keep going. But that's the US for you. Use of chemical weapons and machine guns against miners, not illegal.
I'm drifting into history podcast there. Like,
Just to clarify, there's no implication that WotC are turn up using chemical weapons and machine guns.
Not yet, anyway. We'll see how it goes after sales of D&D start to slide.
so Cyberpunk campaign idea, got it.
The battle of Pathfinder HQ is, can you build D3 trenches before the cloud kill spells come out?
Even worse, Shane. Somebody took a fork of the old D&D Beyond servers and is hosting their own thing. So you need to do a run on it.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, but before we wrap up, I just wanted to say that the thing that is really annoying me about this thing, it's we have always been at war at Bang Sing Se attitude of it. It's this is not a new edition. Even though it has everything the new edition has, WotC's line is that it's not a new edition. But you do need to switch over. And then you compound on this with Sleep always did 5d8 non-lethal damage, or whatever they're going to revise. Whatever spells and items they're going to remove. Holy Avengers are always +2. Or the armor feat always gave advantage on con saves. Or it's the idea that they can just change the narrative about D&D 5th Ed whenever they want. And they can just gaslight us all.
They just want to change how RPGs work. They want to change it from editions to an ongoing thing. That's what they want. These books will come out now, and you'll have your D&D Beyond, and this may be the last D&D book they produce in terms of editions. They may just continually change it, or maybe in 2027 they'll be like, this is the 27 rule book. With the latest printing of the book, because people are weirdos. People are weird. They like having printed physical media. This, as far as that, this is where I see this going. Is that they want to end, and this is what they've said. They want to end editions so that everything is a subscription service.
But that's literally the worst way to do it, because then if you're going to have every 3 years a new version of the rulebook with the new latest errata on it, then you're just making. Oh, are we using 2014 rules, the 2024 rules, the 2027 rules? That's just addition.
How Warren Bossing say, we use D&D Beyond.
It's just like an amp. It's because they think they are transforming the zeitgeist or whatever, that they are basically turning RPGs into a new form of digital entertainment or whatever they're saying in their boardrooms. They just have no idea how stupid and short-sighted all this looks.
Well, it's only stupid and short-sighted if you're used to thinking that this is how RPG books work. If you then shift it and go, no, it's just another online service, then it makes no difference.
It's not like there's decades of people talking about how RPGs work, exploring like how they're different to other media, but that'd be research.
I mean, it's to me, it's like switching over from going to GameStop and buying your thing to, just going to Steam and downloading it, or paying your monthly subscription for a computer game. And that's exactly what they're trying to do with 5th Ed now. And it seems like such a disparity because it's the first game to really try and push it.
I guess at this point, we can't say if it's ultimately going to be successful, but right now it just looks so aggravating and so alienating.
Is some of that a generational thing though? I mean, we're all of a similar age, or a little bit younger than I and Shane, but we have grown up to see the change. We have had physical media for you got DVDs and stuff when you were younger, and then you saw those disappear and go away, and everything's streaming. And now the current generation that are growing up and coming through it, they're just so used to everything just being streaming. Physical media, okay, aside from some people who are into collecting, LPs and stuff, people don't get physical media. And they're quite used to that, and to a degree quite happy with that. Will this be another thing that we may look back and go, physical RPG books, how strange.
But they're still printing physical RPG books for this edition.
Oh, hugely, yeah.
I feel like if they really wanted to have that digital model, I feel like they would want to go full digital and just say, we're not printing books anymore. And they are afraid of doing that because their objective is still to convert their existing.
Full digital would be too much.
Yeah.
But I really see this as a stepping stone.
And that means like if they really do think that, the all digital RPG is the future, then I think they're still behind the times, and there's a chance it requires someone like Disney or some major conglomerate like Disney stepping in and making like probably like a something not recognizable to us as a RPG, but something that you can play on your phone, an app on your phone that's just like text to speech is all stuff you say to the phone to run an RPG on a little digital tabletop of some sort. I think if you're going to do a great digital revolution for the all digital RPG, I think that's the kind of thing that you would want to be seeing. And WotC are still in a transitional mode where they are trying to keep as much of their existing player base happy and draw them in slowly into digital.
That's what they want to do. They're very risk averse.
Yeah.
You don't want to do mad stuff. They took a punt with the D&D movie, which wasn't that much of a big punt. They don't want to take a big long shot, but they want to nudge it in the direction they want it to go. In my mind, that's what they're doing.
And I think in the middle of that nudging is that they're pushing people out.
But in business terms, can they outgrow the churn? That's the
Yeah. I think there's going to be high churn. I am now officially thinking this is going to end up a lot more like Fourth Ed than I was hoping. I had such high hopes for an anniversary edition that would continue the legacy, but I think they've just shown that because their attitude is focused on what are we going to be rather than what we are now and what people want now, I think they are increasing their churn to such an extent. I don't think it's going to cripple. Like people have said, "Oh, fourth edition nearly destroyed D&D," but like it just meant it wasn't growing. It was just not the same thing as it.
Look, the difference between, I'd say what it'll probably be with this kind of stuff, it'll be a difference of 5 to 10% in the overall sales of the product, which is enough for them to consider it a success or not, and for heads to roll.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They have, nobody knows what that number is, but they have a number in their head of sales targets and MRC that they want to hit on D&D Beyond, and we will remain to be seen whether they hit those successful numbers or not. Now, it will always be a great success, the joke of World War II and the German advance into Russia and then the Russian advance into Germany was you could tell how well the side was doing based on how close to their respective capitals the glorious victories were being won. They'll always say it's a great success regardless of whether it's their actual numbers or not, but then you'll see whether heads change or not.
Yeah, even a D&D edition that is failing would still be half the RPG market on its own. Yeah, so I don't think there's any sense that D&D is going to like go away because of things like this. But I do think that this edition is being a little cursed, and it just shows the problem is the mindset at Wizards of the Coast and not necessarily the game itself. If a game comes out, the Rangers are still crap, that's not going to be the thing. It's going to be these editions at the top and these goals, what hamstrings this edition, if anything. We can project doom and gloom, but certainly they are not encouraging us to wish them well and with this kind of carry on.
This is a jump I can only really see them having the resources to do. Like I don't see Paizo, Atlas Games, any of the smaller guys, having the resources to do this kind of thing. So it's let's see what happens. So yeah, that's about it. Any final remarks?
Well, they've already lost sales for me, so they don't care what I have to say anymore.
I'm in a similar boat.
Yeah. I haven't bought a D&D book in years, and I don't intend to resume.
Like my 5 ebooks will remain. And look, if someone I know is running a next edition game, whatever they're calling it, I'll and the pitch is good, I'll play it. But I don't see myself buying the books or signing up to D&D Beyond or whatever successor they have.
I got it as a Christmas present. I'm not going to throw it into the fire, but I'm certainly not going to buy it. So that's it. Like, all right.
So if you'd like to get a digital subscription to all of our wonderful and innovative content, you can hit us up on our social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and join our Discord. Links to all these will be in the show notes. But for now, this party's over. Thanks for listening to The Adventure Party. You can find show notes and links to things we've mentioned at www.theadventuringparty.net and on our Facebook page. You can leave comments there, or talk to our Twitter account at AdventurePTY, or you can record a voice message at www.speakpipe.com/theadventuringparty. We can also be contacted directly by email at party@theadventuringparty.net. If you'd like to be in touch with the party all the time, come join our Discord server, link in the show notes. The Adventuring Party is released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike version 3 license.